So we're going to talk about properties of exponents, and in this case, we're going to talk about negative exponents and what it means. Well, a negative exponent is just notation for uh, that needs to go in the denominator. So it's the same as saying I have 1 over x to the 1, which is the same as just 1 over x. So when I move that to the denominator, it makes that power positive, and so the rule is to move it across the division bar or the fraction bar. So I'm going to say the rule is to move it across the fraction bar. So, this would be where that would normally be, because there's always a 1 in the denominator, and you're just moving it down. And remember, there's always just a 1x, so I didn't switch them places, I just moved the x to the denominator. The way we're going to use this in our class is we need to talk about it in terms of fractional exponents. So if I have something like this, where it's a negative 1/2, or if I have this, an x to the negative 2/3, right? We have something like these. I can rewrite that where I put my x in the denominator. So I now have my x to the 1/2 in the denominator. It's now positive. I use my 1 to kind of hold the place of my numerator. And I can rewrite that, if I wanted to, as a radical. And that's the same as saying I have this square root of x to the 1. So that's a thing. We could do that. The other thing that we could do, maybe we had 2/3, right? Negative 2/3. Well, that's the same as saying I have 1 over x to the negative 2/3, or positive 2/3. And that is the same if I wrote it in radical form, that my root would be 3 and my power is 2. So all we're doing is using that negative to mean notation. It's just move this thing to the denominator. So when you're doing any problems like that, just remember that this is a rule and that this right here, this is simply notation. So this is just notation.